Hello YouTube, Ronin Kazzy, back to the old method. Well, we win some, we lose some. So in my continued quest to benchmark different Linux distros, I'm going to use Silverbench. It's not the greatest benchmarks, but it's something you can use in a browser window, and for something like this, it's going to work out okay for me. We're just trying to get a reference. Again, we're doing these operating systems on a same laptop. We're really testing the operating systems. So Silverbench is going to give us some values, and then we can make some comparisons from that point. I tried to keep everything relatively the same. I had to use Chromium. We're also saying goodbye to Garuda today. And I'm not going to recommend Garuda. And we're going to introduce Ultramarine. And Ultramarine is replacing that. It's a Fedora-based distro. It uses CachyOS kernel, and it has a faster response time with the software. I don't know or don't think it's exactly rolling release, but it's Fedora. It uses, I think it uses Calamares for the installer. It was pretty similar, pretty easy. Okay, getting right into it. So doing this benchmark, it draws that picture in the beginning and does like a snake that chases, gets bigger and bigger. And CachyOS had the highest score. It didn't at first because I ran it with ungoogled Chrome, and it was really low in the bottom third of 5. Then I eventually ran it later with just Chrome, and it did the best. But what's happening now is Arch has the Zen kernel, Cachy has Cachy's, Ultramarine has Cachy's, and I've come across more and more distributions that have CachyOS option for their kernel. Now, I had to get rid of Garuda because I couldn't load any programs on it. And when I figured out how they wanted me to do it, it would look great, and I said, oh, this makes a lot of sense. And it still didn't do it. Maybe I screwed something up. So that's kind of what happened with Garuda. Because if you can't just load simple software, it's probably too smart for its own good, YouTube. So, goodbye, Garuda. And so I went through a lot of, I've tried to install different Arch-based distros, and just I installed one, and it was Reborn OS, and it let me pick Cachy kernel, and then I forgot to install it with the NVIDIA, so I installed it with the NVIDIA. It would boot to terminal, but never boot to the GUI, to KDE. Endeavor came second, very, very close. Endeavor, I think, is another one where I picked like the Zen, I picked a different kernel. Endeavor is a pretty decent OS. It has less of the tools. I like Cachy because you can still load everything via terminal, all your packages, but it also has a package manager. And Cachy comes with the NVIDIA, it comes with the game stuff, so it comes with some things that's why it makes it good. I didn't really think of that. If you have like one of these dual graphic card laptops that have like maybe a discrete NVIDIA GPU, and it has like, I have an AMD processor and it has AMD, they're crappy when they had them, but the built-in GPU. So it switches in between both of them. So that's one of the things that you're getting right out of the box with Cachy. I mean, so sometimes I can't explain. It was just stupid luck that I picked it, and it's been so good. But Ultramarine, and, to be honest, if this was truly a benchmarking, I'd run each one 5 times or 10 times and do all that. But what I'm trying to do is give you a picture. Why are some distros maybe faster than others, and sometimes it doesn't matter. For those of you that don't know, when you see the lights flickering off, I'm so smart that I'm using my monitors as the light to be on me. I don't have special lights to do that. If we ever got big enough, we'd do it. Ultramarine, which has the CachyOS kernel, finished very high. It's a Fedora-based. It doesn't use the same, I think it's called Anaconda, the installer. I really liked it. And I'm running KDE, and it has some of the help things. The thing I don't like about Fedora and Mint, their built-in stuff is, their built-in help screens are kind of cliched. I either want it just text-based or I want better graphics. I don't want like cartoon graphics, although I put cartoons in all these videos. Sorry, YouTube, for my indulgence. So I was pretty surprised in that. But if you can pick the CachyOS, and I don't know if the packages are packaged for it, and so one day I'll go over in a deeper dive and explain to you what Cachy says in their philosophy. Although if you load it in the screens while it's loading, it tells you everything it does, the marketing blurb. Arch. For those of you listening at home in your car, don't look. But Arch did really bad. About 25% less of 40,000. It's basically 30,000. It was at 40,000 on the other ones. Arch, I put the Zen, like I picked that kernel in there. Again, just to give you an idea, this benchmark, if you ran it in Firefox, it would absolutely just, it was a dog. So it needed Chrome or Chromium. So I don't know, maybe my Chromium version, I don't know. And I was having those problems with Garuda, so I was, spent a lot of time on Garuda. I was going to try to unskin Garuda and just make it plain old generic KDE, and I couldn't do that. And I just said, why would I recommend something that it just is a pain in the butt just to get it working? All these distros, I'm throwing them on and they work. Cachy, without a doubt, in every situation, has always been bulletproof for me. Knock on wood. And bringing up the rear, which it shouldn't, is Manjaro. So Manjaro did okay in our other, and Roxy, in these last two, are dogs. And that's why Roxy's barking. Manjaro did the Cyberpunk 2027 thing okay. Probably the next thing I'll go back to Cyberpunk 2027, getting a little more detailed area where it will slow it down more, and we'll see how Ultramarine does. And I haven't seen anything bad with Manjaro. Arch is kind of just a vanity thing. I put it in there because I could do it. And the wallpaper I made for it is the best of all the wallpapers I've made. I really like it, but I could use that wallpaper with anything. I think I've told you this before. When you're picking distros, it's usually the wallpaper. When you go to their screen, that's great marketing when you have such a great wallpaper and setup that makes everything look good. So that's basically how everything performed. Now, I'm not doing a kick things off the island, but maybe I will. Maybe it's not fair. And I got to go back and do some things. So I've got to go back and run Ultramarine in the game Cyberpunk 2077, to get what it's doing. We'll have that in an upcoming video. So kind of a quick recap. Garuda was a pain in the butt. It's always been a pain in the butt, so here it is. We're just pouring one out for good old Garuda. We hardly knew ye. Had a lot of promise. Should have an easy toggle where you could just go back to vanilla, right? I just want vanilla because it has a lot of really good tools. When I got their software, like their pre-packaged software, like you can pick from these ones, that was a fantastic feature that I discovered too late. And maybe I broke it. But they even say we have so many resources, it's going to be a little bit. So I couldn't even get Chromium to run. I couldn't even get it to load. I couldn't get it load from the terminal. I couldn't get it to load from Octopi, and I couldn't get it to load when I finally found the tool to do it. Like, I don't want to have to study. I appreciate all the tools, but if I got to study your interface to figure, I just, no thanks. Not for me, Clive. So Garuda's gone. Never to be spoken of again. No, I can see a case where it would work for someone, but All right. Finally, we're going to welcome aboard Ultramarine. I think I've told you before, I've tried to get Fedora on here. I tried to install Fedora last time. Fedora has a different installation. Do like half the installation and the other half when you boot up. So it's kind of Windows-esque in that regard, like it does the dirt of it, and then it finally comes back with the hey, you're inside now. Now we'll just wrap up a couple cool things. So we'll see how Ultramarine runs. I was really surprised that it could run Cachy, because that's really all you need, right? I've said this before. Linux is Linux is Linux, and if you can borrow from Cachy, the thing that makes it uniquely Cachy. There's some other things. I'm heart and hand loyal to Cachy. Was the first one I went in that really worked. It's on again, I have a handheld Lenovo Legion handheld. It runs on that, and it runs on my main computer. So that's a pretty good thing. And it runs on everything in between. So YouTube, we said goodbye to some old friends, and we said hi to new ones. This is Ronin Kazzy. Sorry it's a little late. Bye, YouTube.